This is Richard. I play Convergence, and I have 3 terabytes worth of Buck Angel pictures.
That's a lot if it's just pictures. That's like 3 trillion pictures.
Most of them are just Richard photoshopped with him at different places. Like, this is Buck and I at the Grand Canyon.
This is me next to his left thigh.
This is me in Buck's Grand Canyon.
He just Googled sample pictures and photoshopped him and Buck Angel to every one of them.
This
is us in space. This is us on a beach.
This is us in Delaware.
Is this like Carl's replacing his face with Nicolas Cage?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Could happen.
I get to make at least Walker references this episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's not Paul walking away from that one.
Oh,
did you see that movie yet?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw it together.
You know what the best part about it is? I love the fact that Brandon runs with this every time I bring it up, but it's like, I like the fact that Vin Diesel explained to us that you never really die. You're always like in your brother's heart or something.
Right.
Or like you're on the road or... like
you have to ride or die. It's a fact.
He's religious.
Paul Walker did not ride.
I think he rode.
He did not ride.
He rode for it briefly?
He rode for some, but he's not dead because he's on the road.
I did like how there was literally like 14 times they could have killed him in the movie and it would have been totally fine.
I was
They're like, nope, must live
time.
through this movie. And we're like, okay, whatever.
Spoiler alert.
It's not like they could have refilmed the scenes without him. Hello and welcome to L2 Wargame, the audio podcast. My name is Brandon, or PG Mulus on the forums.
This is Max. I'm Age of Egos on the forums. Come to DACA, say hey.
Just Spence. Yeah, and just Spence in the forums too. He brought up DACA.
Spence is broken. This is Jeremy. I go by Lord Fool.
This is Richard, and I play Convergence.
All right, so today we've got a couple different topics. First of which, we're going to be talking with Richard about him starting up Convergence and things he's trying to do with that. And later on, we'll have a topic about keeping a level head in a game. So, Richard, why don't you tell us a little bit about your new endeavor into the faction?
So, I love playing the game, but I just don't have the time that I used to. And I loved playing my trolls, but kind of wanted a fresh start. And so I collected Minoff, and I collected Circle, and dreams of, starting something. But some of the factions were really, really deep, and when I would start to kind of read into them and look at what I wanted to play, it was pretty overwhelming when I didn't have enough time to invest into that. So kind of got frustrated with it, and everybody knows Parker, but we kind of sat down and we were talking about some different things, and I mentioned I really like Convergence, and there was a sale on Convergence, so I picked up a bunch of that. And he went through, and he's the type where he'll pour through models and just different things, and kind of came up with some cool lists. And so my goal is to go play at tournaments, with the idea of playing a new faction, something different, and see if I can actually win a couple of games.
Cool.
So yeah.
Everybody likes winning games.
At least I want to get my one win, not round 6. So,
okay.
I've played the game for years. I've never been like a super competitive player or even good enough to, rank up there with anybody. But a few years ago, I played quite a few games, and I enjoyed it, and I was doing pretty good. And then I just kind of fell off. And there's just so many factions and casters and combos, and I don't know the shticks. I don't, you go to play a game and you play against some oddball list that somebody dreamed up that you'll never see at a tournament, and when everybody plays their oddball list against you, and you're basically just trying to remember how everything works. It makes going to tournaments seem like, oh man, I'm just going to lose every single game and I'm never going to get any better. So I really wanted, because I consider getting out of the game because it just wasn't super fun anymore, losing constantly. So I wanted to basically only play against lists that I'm going to see on a tournament level. So get practice against those, play against people who are kind of the same mindset. They want to get steamroller-based experience. And so that's kind of the games I'm looking for, because there's so few that I can play now. So I just want to make sure that the investment that I put into the game was that I was getting the most out of it.
Okay. That's good. Why don't you go ahead and take us into your lists, and then we can talk about your goals in the future.
Cool. So, like I said, I didn't build the list. So after just a lot of conversation between Parker and myself, we decided on the Syntherian list. Partially because I had some of the models already, so it just kind of made sense, to go with it. So this is it's pretty common. It's a tier 4. You've got Syntherian, and the Corollary, the Prime Axiom, Diffuser, Modulator, 2 Ciphers, and then you get the Galvanizer for free. Then I have 3 of the Algorithmic Dispersion Optifect Solos, the Reflex Servitors, and a unit of the Optifix Directive. So kind of the point with this one was attrition. The Syntherian with 4 focus on them is pretty tough to kill. The idea was, as I'm learning the game, let's not overwhelm me with, or not necessarily learning the faction, not overwhelm me with a lot of models to activate. So this one was kind of built to last a while and be easy to kind of wrap, my head around as far as how the army plays. So we went with 7 jacks, which the more I play this list, I really love it because I played a lot of troops when I played trolls, and while they're fun, it is really nice to hit something with like a POW 25. It feels so good. So I get to live the dream of smashing something with 1 hit. Kind of thought the Optifex reaching out turn 1, anything that was AD, and putting magnetic hold on them would allow kind of the Axiom to just kind of sit out there and shoot stuff. Ciphers could drop things if they were low enough armor to do some damage. So it's kind of, as I've played it, it's basically I just kind of sit and wait for stuff to come to me and pull stuff in and kill it. I think some of the biggest things I've struggled with is not playing at Assassination, which is kind of the list I had gone for before. I love playing P-Grim Assassination and either the Madrax or even Epic Gristle. I always like going in for the caster kill only. So this is like it's a little bit of a struggle to basically reteach myself, how to play the game a little bit differently. So it's fun. I know I gave you guys a list. What do you think of it?
I think it's okay. I do play a little bit of Syntherian myself. I went with different jacks and less of the Optifexes, and I didn't take the Reflex Servitors, but mine was more of just a skew. I wanted as many heavies as possible. I guess it's not really true. I take 4 lights in mine. But I want as many Warjacks as possible, so I only have 3 points and not Warjacks in the list. But, I mean, I definitely see, Ciphers are really good on him. I mean, I see why everything is in the list, so it looks good.
Sure. I'm a little bit curious about something that maybe step back here a little bit. Richard, you mentioned that your goal was to get really focused and direct your efforts toward a true higher-level tournament or steamroller idea. But you've also mentioned that when you sit down and play against things that are a little bit outside of that mindset, that's where you kind of get hung up.
Like
I think he's frustrated against random just skew lists that you would never expect to see at a tournament, like Kane with 12 hunters or just something weird like that.
I get that. Well, my curiosity is you're running into this losing streak. I mean, is it because your expectation for what you're going to come across is not consistently met? Because if your expectation is playing balanced, reasonable lists, which I mean, I guess that's somewhat fair. You're kind of setting yourself up for failure because a lot of times you're coming into this game and you're going to play something that's completely arbitrary. And when you put your list on the table, you have a focus, you have a reason behind it. And as opposed to knowing how to use it against very specific things, just maybe utilize that as a moment to use your list in a different way. Or it's like you have to make sure your glove fits, pretty much. And if your list is not 100% perfectly fitting on your hand, then, I mean, how are you going to use it effectively all the time? So maybe as opposed to avoiding all those matchups, just play the hell out of it. Play it against everything, up and down, good matchups, bad matchups, stupid things that don't make any sense, and try and get the best out of it. I mean, it's a solid list. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would never want to play that with anything that I want to play. Anything. I don't like any of the idea of it. It's that many heavies, it's that much focus efficiency, and I mean, it's a prime axiom, which is enough of a bitch, but I just think that you play it against as much as you possibly can, as opposed to trying to sharpen it against like 4 specific armies. Sure.
And it's not that I haven't played it against, kind of some skewed lists. It is a real struggle for me to change my schedule up to play, during the week. Mm-hmm. And I've played more games in the last month than I have in probably the last, 4 outside of, going to some tournaments. So realizing that it was easier for me to plan a month ahead for a Saturday of 4 to 6 games, as opposed to showing up every Thursday night, I wanted to show up on those Saturdays and be ready to rock and roll. Maybe win a couple, not feel like a complete bag of crap, when you walk out of there going, wow, I just sat there and just clocked myself because I did not know what to do. And I have purposely only played this list because I want to play it against bad matchups, knowing that sometimes you're locked into a list that you have to play. As I'm kind of starting over with it, it's not necessarily that I'm looking for only matchups that are not skewed. I just don't want to waste the small amount of time that I have playing against someone who is proxying, this, or who just wants a goofy game because,
or if I'm playing Cardchev or something, it's not a list I would ever take to a tournament.
Exactly.
Or I would, but I mean, in very rare situations.
Mm-hmm.
But, it can win games, but really I'm relying on a trick that you're only going to see once.
Yeah. And I'm going for the numbers. If I practice against things that I'm going to see more often, then there's a better chance that I will be able to effectively plan my games against things that I've seen. Like I said, there's no goal of being the best. I'm not going to take home any massive trophy. I just want the hobby that I spend hours painting on and hang, because let's be honest. I travel to play the games to hang out with my buddies. So if I'm spending money and taking vacation and traveling to go and lose all weekend long, it's like, okay, that's one aspect of the game or the experience. But I'd like to win maybe two games, in 3 days. So that's, I want to make the most efficient use of the time in between those cons. And it's funny because I think my idea would definitely tie into what you guys want to chat about later. Is you can go and your whole focus is to win, or you can take the idea that I don't want to say some of the older players have adopted, but just you don't have to focus on 100% being competitive, because when you lose round 1 or round 5, you're still lost. So what's left over? Well, I'm in a room full of people that, all share the same hobbies, a lot of the same interests, and we're having a blast. So that's what I want to focus on primarily. That's, why we all do what we do.
It feels good to win, though.
I do want to win once in a while.
Well, there's a difference between losing and or winning and having a game. So you want to be a part of the game. Like you don't want to go in just never had a chance to win and get steamrolled. Like it's different if every game you play is close. Then it really doesn't matter if you win or not.
Exactly. And some of the best games I've had, and I think everyone can agree, is that when you have that game that both of you are just you got your hand on your forehead. You're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Or this comes down to this just crazy set of scenarios to happen, and those are the people that after you're done shaking hands, that every time you see them at a con, you're like, hey, what's up, man? People that I only see one time a year, and it's like, oh, remember that game 4 years ago where, you rolled this, and it's like, oh, that was so cool, and, I'm looking forward to more games as opposed to, like coins.
Richard, have you noticed any consistency as to how you lose? Like, do your losses typically come from something?
So, yes.
Okay.
My losses come because I don't manage my time well. And that's just me in a nutshell. I have all these models that I've, painted or I've thought, thought things through. And when I get it on the table, I either have not practiced it enough so that things are more of muscle memory. It's more of, oh, God, what does Syntherian do again? Even tonight, like going to, the spell Magnetic Hold, I don't have it memorized. So I'm like, I know what it kind of does, but it's not having things memorized and second nature that
right. You don't have the muscle memory built up.
No. And so when I go to play around, I sit there and I go, this is what I remember, but this is not good because I know that it should do this. So I'll sit there like a chess player and think out every single possible scenario, and then I'm looking at the clock, and I'm worried I'm going to run out of time. And then I look at my opponent who's obviously like, oh, great. And it just, you end up killing yourself.
Well,
so
I really hate to give Brandon credit for anything because I don't like the guy, but
I agree.
He did point out something that it's okay. Learning the rules in this game. This game is a really, I don't want to say overly simple, but a very, very black and white set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about it is like you read the rule book when you first start playing, or you should read the rule book when you first start playing. And you think you know what you're doing. You put models on the table. You start pushing things around. And then after you play a bunch of games and you think you know how to do these things, if you go back and you read the rules again, you realize or you learn a bunch of stuff that you wouldn't have. So maybe it's like, I know that you've read your spell card a million times, you've read your vectors cards a billion times, you know what these things do, in theory at least. But, I mean, maybe just sitting down after a game and just rereading them. Or, I mean, not because you lost, not because you want to figure out what you missed out, but a lot of times I've read something and picked up on a piece of it that I just had completely blanked out on before.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he said, go back and read the rules after you played a bunch of games. Well, you know what Magnetic Hold does. But can you sit here and tell me an exact implication of how Magnetic Hold can be used in a really obscure way? That, I think, is kind of the key. Like, for me, a lot of clutch points on rules are, like, okay, I played our Harbinger episode 18 list about 1.5 billion times now. I'm still trying to figure out the subtle nuances of can I make my tough roll, then decide to martyr? It's like, these things...
That should not be difficult.
Well, it shouldn't be, but like little things like that, I need to relook at them sometimes because it's not second nature for me yet. So I understand what you mean by these things not being, so you waste time doing that. In every game, I wind up wasting a ton of time doing that. So I maybe just going back and, I mean, not necessarily trying to memorize it like I know what the spell does verbatim. Remember it in a specific situation so that you remember a subtle effect of it. That's helped me out a ton in little things. Like we were discussing spells last night that the new Menoth guy may have, but it's like somebody brought up that's Hallowed Avenger. I'm like, that's not how Hallowed Avenger does. And how many people have Hallowed Avenger? I know exactly what the spell does because I wanted to play that caster, and I was like, I'm going to make this work.
And then after a while, you're like, this spell sucks.
It's like there's just no way to make that work. But it's like I tried to find little ways to make it work. So as opposed to memorizing the spell, like reading it over and over again like a flashcard, there's a situation in my head where I remember, okay, if I put it on this model in this situation, or if I cross-compare it to this situation, like, I have like pseudo real world experience on using it. So magnetic hold, as opposed to remembering what that does, remember that time you used it on that one guy and it didn't work or did work because of this. Just that's focus on that.
Well, I would I agree with you, and then I would say that it would make sense if I was playing 5 games a week to have the luxury of going, oh, you know, that all these games that I've, you know, what have I learned from each one? There's so few that I've played that to make me sit there and ponder all the possibilities of everything. Now, the games that I do play, obviously, I do that, but the pool of knowledge or data to pull from is not as vast as what I used to do, you know, used to be able to. So that's why it's kind of funny because I'm playing a faction that is efficient with its focus, that I wanted to be efficient with, you know, what I do. Make every game that I take time from on this side of my life, you know, I wanted it to count. And basically that's why Parker was like, here, I'll give you 2 lists, focus on 2 lists, not, you know, 7 casters and not, you know, all the troops and that, you know, just focus on these guys, wrap your head around that, and then when you feel comfortable playing these 2 lists in a tournament setting with all of these factors, then you can go, all right, I'm going to grab another caster, or I'm going to try another, you know, combo.
Yep.
It's so overwhelming to me, maybe not to others, but, you know, like I said, if I don't have the time to devote to memorizing and learning everything, then it can become quite daunting when you basically, you know, you open one door and you find just an overwhelming amount of knowledge.
I would say step 1 is definitely deciding what you want to go for and, like, finding a direction. Step 2, like, before you get to what Spence was saying about, like, trying to reread the rules and get everything up in your head at the same time, is definitely just becoming comfortable with what you've chosen.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just look at a model and instantly recall what it does. You have to know, is like, this model is an arc node while within 6 inches of a friendly warjack. And you look at your caster and you go, he has these 5 spells. I can, like, use them in these ways. And to do that, I would say you probably need about 10 games with each list.
Mm-hmm. And the game I played last night versus the first 5 or 6, you know, everyone laughs and makes fun of me because I take so long to play. But last night I shaved an hour, which is off of, yeah, you know, it is what it is, off of the game. And the whole time I basically kind of knew, like, I walked in, I looked at the scenario, I looked at his army, and I said, okay, I know mostly kind of what it does. Mm-hmm. And, you know, what's your feet do? What's the
key points?
You know, yeah. And then I go, here's what I know, and here's what I'm going to do to alleviate the most punishment. You know, I know I'm going to make mistakes, so how can I maximize strengths and minimize weaknesses? And so instead of playing aggressively for the first time, I said, okay, I'm going to hold off. You're going to feat, I'm going to write it out. Why? Because I'm armor 24. And even if you put your most badass guy right on my doorstep, good luck, you know, because if you don't kill me, you are going to pay for it dearly next round. Right. And that's what I did. So, like, you know, like you're saying, you know, 10 games, you know, for me it's probably more like 15, but it just starts becoming more and more fluid-like, and last night was the first game that I was like, yes, I feel super good, you know, about playing. Nowhere, you know, ready to go start challenging people, but it was good. It takes a while, but, and I think that's why towards the end of me playing Trolls, I was getting so frustrated is, you know, I couldn't play for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, and then I'd go, oh, I love playing Grim, I love playing, you know, Madrak, and I love playing Gristle, and I love playing Jarl. And so I'd have all these things that I wanted to do, but I wasn't practicing the game enough to do any of them efficiently. And so when I would randomly pick a caster out because I wanted to play that cool shenanigan that one day, and I would lose all my games. Because the next week I was playing something different, or the next time I played, and I never basically got anything down.
What would you say your strengths as a player are? I mean, honestly, you consider, and you've given us a couple things that you just don't feel like you're very confident at, or that you don't feel like you're very strong at. What are you strong at?
I have no clue what most of any of my opponent's stuff does. I have died, and this is, this is, what's the Lilith that has the extra attack on her feet? Is that
Lilith 2,
Epic?
Shadow of
Lilith
Everlight.
2. Yeah. You know how many times I've gotten caught with that? It's just like, ugh, damn it. But that's one of those ones that, I'll walk onto a table and I'll go, okay, here's my game. I have no clue what your stuff does. And when I was playing a lot with trolls, I would win because I think I was better at coming up with strategy on how to beat them because I knew my stuff really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely do not have the time, nor do I really want to invest the time in knowing what every faction and every model does.
Okay.
Your model's speed 6. All right, I know I need to be this far away. Does it have reach or not? Okay, cool. So if I stay far enough away, I don't care if you're weapon master, or I don't care if you do this. I mitigate things by knowing that no matter what unit I'm playing, I don't need to put all 6 dudes up in the front. I can give you 2.
Yeah.
Because next turn, I'm going to get those other 4 onto you, and I'm going to win the fight because I played it better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's my strength. Like, I know, even though I might not know what I'm up against, when I do know my stuff, I think I'm more effective at it.
So you're saying that you're a better technical player than your average person, but you lack the knowledge of models. Like, you don't know the breadth of models in the game as well as you wish you could.
And, basically that.
We up at Pulp Fiction, a bunch of noobs of us up there, we're all still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Dev's played Trolls for quite a while, but we were talking about Trolls and some of the things that we felt like were strong about Trolls. And then we came up with a term where we were trying to find a specific word that would help kind of define not necessarily the entirety of an army, but just some description of it. And one thing for the Trolls we used was Trolls are a very forgiving army. And the fact that, okay, well, sometimes you can just throw some stuff out there and it's tough enough that it can weather whatever they throw at it, and then you get to roll forward. It's sort of thing where I don't want to say it's forgiving the fact that you don't have to be good to play it, but it's more so, it's less exacting. Like, if you can't, when they trade, it takes a lot for an enemy to take something from Trolls, so trading up isn't always that hard. Dev found that whenever he played as Trolls, because he was so durable, because Trolls are ridiculously durable, that a lot of times people didn't know exactly what they had to commit in order to actually take something from Trolls, so they would undercommit, and then they would fail, and then the Trolls would get up on whatever trade they were doing. So it didn't matter if it was attrition or just, stumbling into an assassination. And I mean that if I can't actively remove your models from the table, you can easily stumble into a situation where it's like, well,
or even worse so, if they overcommit to, say, kill an Earthborn or something, now you've got 25 points of their army standing where an Earthborn used to be, and Mold just walks over and eats
exactly.
it. Yeah.
Now, my point is, if you're used to playing with Trolls, and Trolls are effectively a forgiving army, maybe that's given you the habit of playing in a way where you...
Sloppy.
Well, yeah, where you're playing kind of in a forgiving, well, as if your army's a forgiving thing. Whereas some armies, they can't trade that. I mean, I don't want to pick one off the top of my head, but what's something where you honestly cannot peace trade that easily? I mean, is Legion that one? I imagine Legion in my head is one where you can't effectively give away a big thing.
Nenoth was the stereotypical for a long time because of the enlivened tricks. It's hard to take a heavy from them for free.
Okay, well,
so
I mean,
you're almost always giving up more than it's worth.
So maybe that Troll mindset's still kind of in you, so maybe the whole, I don't really need to know what your stuff does that well because I know how strong my stuff is, so you need to know better about my stuff than I need to know about your stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's kind of residually still in you, and I don't know a ton about how Convergence is playing, but are you having difficulty with Convergence because you're trying to play them, and even inadvertently, like Trolls? Like, you're saying how big and tough your stuff is. I don't know of many things in the game that if I'm able to commit to it that I can't kill. Like, that's most things.
I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm struggling learning Convergence. The switch from And I never really, understood the complaint. People go, oh, you're hordes, you can just, run hot and win the game. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm sure you guys, work the same with, Warmachine, but that's one thing that I've struggled with is switching from
Focus to Fury is a big deal because you can't alter your plan halfway through the turn. It's like, well, instead, this guy's going to do all the work. You're like, you can't do that because he has no focus.
Yeah, and because I'm playing Convergence, that's like even more so. And that's, I think, probably the first 10 games that I played was so frustrating. And I would just kind of basically fall apart on one turn because I put a focus on the wrong guy or activated one model in the wrong order. Now, trolls have their amount of synergy that has to happen, but to me, it was always mostly support. Okay, stones, fell color, and then go in. This is like, your heavy hitter can't go second. He needs to go sixth. Well, did a turn before, did I put him in a spot that he could actually do something? Crap, I didn't. I didn't give him a focus. So not only am I screwed this turn, I'm screwed next turn. So it's definitely tough switching to the pre-planning phase, not being able to transfer damage, I haven't lost it to really any hardcore assassination stuff, mostly lost to scenario, because I didn't put models where they should have been a turn before it mattered. So, it's relearning threat ranges, what needs to be where. Trolls are, yes, very forgiving in the sense that, all right, I'll just throw a mauler in your face. One thing I used to love doing with P. Grim was playing melee assassination and range assassination in the same list and going just all in with melee right up front. And people were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then once they would chew through an Earthborn, then I would hit them with the range. And it just, a lot of games I would win, people were overwhelmed with, what do I do? This is more like, I got to just take it on the chin because I know next round I just heal up and I do it again and I do it again because you can't stop it or it's really tough to stop it. So I don't want to say they're the same, but they're pretty similar. It's just how you go about having that same plan kind of activate. If that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. I think we've pretty much talked through the goals that you have with Convergence.
Yep.
And in the future, we'll probably have you back on, and we'll have you talk about some games you've played recently and some important decisions you've made, like which list you selected against what kind of opponent.
And Richard, we have never played. Ever.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We'll have to remedy that.
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't played.
Yeah.
If you're bad, I want some wins.
I'm pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Yes. According to Brandon, I'm actually the worst player he's ever seen.
That's a fact.
It is. So, I mean,
I teach people how to play.
Yeah, it's like, he has set down a battle box for somebody, he's like, Spence, this guy could kick your ass. It's like, it happens.
Yeah. I should literally just let you play them because it would be a better learning experience.
God, what does
for
this
them.
model do again? That's a Crusader. It's like, what, is that my caster?
I was like, I'm going to charge you. It's like, you can't. Your model's facing backwards. And he's like, damn it.
Why is it facing backwards?
Like
you turned him that way. I want him to wave at my caster. That's not your caster. That's a Revenger. Is my caster not a Revenger?
Sad. All right. So moving on to our next topic is going to be about keeping a cool head in a game and what to do if you realize that you are getting very upset.
Also known as why Spence loses.
Spence loses some games because of this.
Some games?
Some games.
I want you to point out a game where I didn't tilt. I think of one game ever.
The game that you
won
lost
yesterday
Striker.
and almost tilted.
I did tilt in that game.
He did. But I was going to say specifically the game that you played Harbinger against Striker 2, and you crushed the guy, and literally he had like 3 models left and killed you. Because it was the opposite of tilting. You were so overconfident that you couldn't lose that you lost.
There's no way Striker can get that far. Wait, why? Striker 2 can go
You
anywhere
say
he wants.
velocity, do you? I regret this.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Now, I will say, despite being the kind of... If you're going to tilt, and you're going to be the guy that's going to whine and want to flip the table, don't make it bad for your opponent, because it's not their fault. You're a fucking failure, okay? So every time I'm failing really hard at the game, I don't want my opponent to feel bad about it. I want them to know how bad I am at the game.
Okay, so I'm going to walk us through the last time I saw Spencer really get upset at a game.
Speaking of Parker, let Brandon describe to you my game with my... It was the Testament of Menoth.
Okay,
played by
hold
me.
on.
Go ahead.
We got the backstory.
Got it.
So he was picking his 2 lists, and then someone said, instead of High Reclaimer, why don't you just play Testament?
Who was that someone?
I think it was Parker.
No, that was not. That was you.
I don't think I said that.
That was you.
I would never say that.
Yeah, you said... no, that was... No, it was Jake.
Jake.
Fucking
yes.
Jake.
Jake was on our last podcast.
Jake is going to be my kryptonite.
Reference episode, last one.
Yes.
So he decides to build a Testament list. He's never played Testament before. Picks up Testament, just throws random models in his list. He had Paladins, just all kinds of weird stuff.
It was Reliquary Guard.
Oh, you're playing the tier list. That's why it was so weird. So anyway, he gets paired up round 1 against Parker. And as the TO, I get to watch whatever game I want. So I'm over there watching their game. I'm looking at the game, and I go, God. Because Parker's playing Haley 1, the most frustrating caster in the entire game. And he's playing Stormwall, the Tempest Blazers, just all kinds of just good guns. Obviously playing Haley 1. And I can see as soon as Spencer looks at the table, he just starts getting upset. And I'm just like, I start thinking through the game, I'm like, I don't think this is actually that bad, because he has Revive. Like, he can just keep reviving dudes and contest the zone. And I was like, he literally has to table Spencer to win. Because he's not going to win on scenario.
I had a nice wall in the zone.
Yeah, there's wall, like, right there. Like, there's all this good terrain. There's a forest in the middle of the table. And so he continues to get so upset that he just runs all the stuff as far as it will go. Because he's like, well, next turn I can't run, so I'm going to run as far as I can go. Immediately, every Venger died. And then I was like, so now he can't revive Vengers, because they're dead. His armor 19 unit is now off the table because he didn't think about what he was doing.
I want to tilt right now hearing this conversation. Like, I want to start screaming at you.
That's not the defining moment of the game yet. So, and despite him losing a whole lot of stuff, he's still in the game. And then Parker, I've never seen Parker make a mistake this bad on scenario. He's made mistakes a lot, but usually it's like, I lost a whole unit of guys to a 4-inch AoE. Like, that's usually what Parker does wrong. He moved every model he had out of his zone.
No, that one Black 13th member was still in the zone.
In the other zone. No, there was 2 zones.
The storm wall that was there, he moved out. And I was like,
the storm wall and all of his gun mages out of his defended zone. And in his friendly zone, he moved all but 1 Black 13th out. So all Spencer had to do to score 2 points was to kill a Black 13th, and he would have had 2 points, and on Parker's turn, he has to move back into his walk-in attack range, or give up 4 points, which basically ends the game. And Spencer tried to assassinate Haley 1 by spending his 14 focus on Testament to spell Assassinator and failed.
So bad.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, can I
the caster with Arcane Vortex?
Can I preface that? That was actually the turn before that. I was actually yelling in the store. I was yelling about how Haley 1 is bullshit and how not being able to run or charge against my full exemplar melee army is just like, it's stupid and unreasonable, and all of his guns. And Parker does this thing where he'll ask you what your Knight Exemplar's defense is 1,000 times.
He asks every time he shoots you because
he wants
he's
to make
thinking
sure it's
about
correct.
Other things and he doesn't want to do
that attack
wrong.
has to be right. And he's very precise about what he does, and I appreciate that. Like, at no point does Parker ever want to cheat you on anything. He wants to know you're getting everything you get. But it's like, I was screaming about how much I hated this matchup and how stupid it was. And at that point, like, Brandon and Parker both have this look on their face.
And
they both see that this is my game.
We're playing two games per table. They're 8x4 tables. I'm on the far end of the table watching from about 6 feet away from Spencer and Parker. And when Parker ends his turn, I look at Parker knowing that he's about to look at me. And he just turns and makes eye contact and he goes, I done fucked up. And I was like, yeah. And then Spencer's like, what? Like, he's so upset he has no idea what he's talking about.
I have no idea
when
what's
it's
going on.
literally he moved all of his stuff out of the zones.
It's like Parker realized right then exactly how I could have won that game.
Not to mention, at this point, after turn 2, Parker had 25 minutes left on his clock.
And I was still at 45.
Yeah.
No, I was still...
You were up like 18 minutes.
It was... And beyond that, Parker at this point had still never used his covering fire templates on the storm wall. He just was like...
2 turns in a row, forgot to use covering fires.
Took the templates, set them on the back of the storm wall, little butterfly wings. Is like, okay, I'm going to remember to use these. I said, like, yeah, put them back there so you remember to use those. Forgot again. And I was like, okay, I'm looking at those two. I was like, God, they both think I have this. So I'm like, okay, well, I must have something right now. So I'm looking at the table. And I'm looking at the table. And at this point, like, And
now you go Parker clock, and you burn 15 minutes staring at the table.
I'm so mad at this point. I can't see anything on the table except for I hate Haley. But I have like 9, 10 souls on me or something like that.
You had a lot. You had a big stack.
So I stepped up, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to spell Assassinator. So I used one to, 3-inch place, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to charge this thing. Now within range, I'm going to spell. No, that didn't do anything. Spell, it does nothing. Okay. I honestly don't know what I had. I was like, maybe that should have done better. And everybody was like, God, you're, And like, I was like, me dumb. And then the horsies walked up and gunned me down. But it's like...
Well, I mean, at that point...
The point of it is...
When you're on a zero camp in front of his entire army, you're dead.
The point of it is, it's like, tilting is not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to do anything at all. And if I would not have been, like, raging so hard 2 turns before that, and I would have just paid attention to what was going on, and really, I gave up before the game started.
Right. Well, 1, you had literally accepted defeat before you even deployed your army. And then 2, you were so mad during the game, you didn't allow yourself to come back from that. So, when... Obviously, you don't choose to go get upset and be on tilt or whatever you call it. You don't choose to be in a bad frame of mind. It happens.
Yeah.
So the key is to either never get there or find a way to prevent yourself from it affecting your play. So, like, when you get mad, you just get frustrated and you just don't want to play anymore, I feel. It's like, is that your, like, if you get to pick exactly something you could do at that moment, what would it be?
It would definitely be just...
It would just walk away from the table.
I have never been one to ever... I will not give up. I'm never going to say...
Right,
okay,
you're not
well,
going to stop playing, but realistically, that's what you want
to do. I am done, but I'm still going to keep going through the motions. That's the problem that I get in my head. And when you're done, you just stop. Because, I mean, after the game, I look at it and I'm like, I feel bad for having felt that way and giving up, because I always want to be the motivational speaker. It's like, don't ever quit. Yeah, but that's not who I am when I'm playing the game. And well, and I lose a ton of games that way. And what is Max? Like, don't give me that look. Age of Egos is here staring at me. So, I want to be a better player than that. My biggest problem when it comes to losing games like that isn't necessarily the loss, because I've had plenty of games where I started tilting and then a win comes out of nowhere, and hell, then I feel like...
And you feel even worse.
It's like, oh, this game sucks, it's horrible, I hate it.
God,
well, okay,
Legion's so bullshit!
Last night's game when you and I played, I was like, I don't think I was tilting, but I was just like, I don't care, I'm tired, I'm not paying attention.
Right, yeah, you were out of the game.
And it's like, and I feel like the little when I, like, scrunched out of nowhere at the end of that game, it was like, that wasn't even really a win.
No, that was probably the most legitimate win you've ever had against me. I don't know why you're saying that.
I don't feel like that's true at all.
It's like, I had no way to win that game at that point. Like, despite the fact you killed me with an assassination, I couldn't beat you on attrition anymore.
That's your list, though. I know that. I know your list.
So you're saying it was a bad matchup.
Okay, I don't know if I want to call it a bad match because I don't know if my list was an actual list. But I know the list that you built.
List was fine, yeah.
I think your list is fine too. But I think your list has one huge weakness. This is a Kraus 1 list, by the way, that he's been.
Yeah, we're talking about we actually built this on the. No, we didn't. We just talked about Kraus 1 with the Judicator. Yeah. We haven't actually shared that list.
He's running Kraus 1 with Judicator. But the thing is, the list is so tight on what can effectively do things that if I can remove those things or just sucker punch any chunk of it out, then I have an upper hand. Even losing a heavy, I still had the upper hand. I felt like I could leverage things against you so easily. And then if any rolls go south for some reason, like they did with the errants, I kind of feel like you can't pick yourself back up.
It's a razor's edge list. You can't afford to have
and I mean, I still love the list. I do. And it's very clean, and it's very, I mean, I feel like it's brutal, but it's definitely the opposite of forgiving. So
yeah, that is not true.
Now, but it's like that game last night, I feel like I didn't outplay you. I feel like I kind of stumbled into a win because I almost want to call it rolls, where the errants didn't do their jobs, where my tough rolls did do it.
I don't know about that. I think if we play that game again, it might come out differently, but I think out of 10 games, you probably win 6 or 7.
And I would never play that list again because I don't like running Feora 2 that way.
That's but fine. I like Feora 2 that way.
Well, tilting, okay.
Okay, so your immediate instinct when you get that upset at something, you want to just stop doing it. So because I don't know if this is only me, but I get on tilt and I complain, but complaining is almost like my stress reliever. So like when I start bitching about my dice, it usually just releases the tension in my body, and I'm like, all right, I've complained about it, it's over now. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to get more upset. Like, usually once I complain about the dice while they're rolling bad, but as soon as my luck changes, I'm usually fine. But when I actually get frustrated in a game, I usually get upset at how I'm losing, and I try and defeat the situation. So I come up with my best, like, assassination plays when I'm upset. Because I'm looking for a cheesy way to win. Because I'm mad at the situation I'm in.
One area where I notice that I really get susceptible to tilting is when, if I play somebody that has less experience than I do, and while I'm not that good of a player, I've played a lot, I know I have a pretty big base of knowledge about just random things throughout the game. I don't know anything 100%, but I know a little bit about everything. Is when my opponent doesn't understand something or doesn't know something, and they're doing it, I don't want to say incorrectly, maybe inefficiently or not the best way, and I want to remind them that they're like, hey, no, you should do it this way. And I don't want to tell them to play their turn, but like, okay, Fire Salvation is a jack that I use a lot. I love that jack a ton. And a lot of people completely forget about Righteous Vengeance. They just completely forget he's going to make a 5-inch move. Right.
And what they'll do is they'll start doing something like, hey, wait, this guy's going to move 5 inches. I'll do things like that.
You should not do that.
I know I shouldn't do that, but it's like, I feel like a lot of times, like, if I'm tilting, it's like, it's sort of thing where I kind of like, I hate that fact that I want to remind them and I want to tell them these things. I hate the fact that I'm like trying to like, hey, don't be so bad. I've never felt obligated to tell people like I have countercharge. Like, I feel like that's their responsibility to know. But I do feel bad when I'm upset because then I won't point out things like, you forgot to rally your unit last turn, or like things like that. Like, if we're playing and I'm not upset, I'll always try to remind people of stuff like, hey, that's not stationary anymore, like, because you just forgot. Like, you know, that's not how this is working. Like, it's not like you could have cast a spell and you didn't. It's like you literally are playing the rule wrong and it's hurting you.
What I'm saying is I hate whenever they're forgetting things, I'm reminding them of things, and I'm losing. It's like, at that point, it's like,
hey, no, you didn't take 2 damage because you have battle driven up.
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
you forgot. Like, stuff like that.
Or when you're playing against Terminus and you're all like, oh no, wait.
You have sack pawn.
You have sack pawn. Or, hey, wait, you have harm and I have battle. It's like, whenever I have to remind these little things that like put it in their favor and they aren't thinking about them and they're winning, it's like, you should remember these. Why am I losing if you're not remembering these things? And it makes me
probably
feel like
because you're reminding
worse.
them so they're not actually forgetting.
I'm just doing so much worse sometimes. And in our game last night, I forgot battle like 9 turns in a row.
I wouldn't say 9 turns. I'd say 9 activations.
It was 157 turns in a row.
I don't think that's
I think I actually threw my choir away.
I think you did.
Pulling myself back from tilting usually involves... No, it doesn't happen.
No, I don't think I've ever seen you get your head back once it happens. Richard, what about you?
When I am like losing really bad, I have a tendency to self-destruct. Like, oh god, I forgot this, and then I basically go, the whole game's run, throw it away. And I don't mean like walk away. I think I think the only game I ever packed up with was against you. But we didn't. I don't think we actually packed up. But it was.
Is it the Mega Metal game you're talking about?
No, because I had a blast with that.
Oh, okay.
No, I think it's the Killing Girl.
Yeah, the Killing Girl game.
And it was one of those things that I have a tendency to be very forgiving of sloppy play because I don't want my opponent to judge me that harshly. In the sense that if we're playing and you forgot to activate Mold, that's pretty big. But if you forgot to activate a solo, I'm usually like, go ahead, not a big deal. Because I want it reciprocated to me if I make that mistake.
Right.
I try to play better than that. But when, like, things happen and you can't go backwards, and then there's that uncomfortable situation of, well, I'm calling bullshit. And your opponent's like, no, I think it happened this way. Now it's like, okay, somebody's going to lose here before the game is won or lost. And, we're having a little mini fight right now. So typically when I start to like break down, I just go all in. Screw it, going for a caster assassination because I feel I've already lost the game, so I might as well go for it. And I end up losing. But it never happens that way against my opponent. They always seem to get a caster kill on me after I've lost coins because I was forgiving against an opponent, and they're like, oh, well, let me just do this, your caster's dead. Son of a... why am I so nice to people?
And
then I'm watching, I'm like, that stupid mother effer is holding my coin.
I've been working on I've not done tournaments until recently. Like in the past few months, I started doing tournaments. And a mentality that I took into it really, after listening to other people's podcasts and talking to people a little bit more tournament experience than I have, I'm trying to get in the habit of, in tournament play, I'm just polite to my opponent. Like, I don't do the reminder thing at all in tournament play. Mm-hmm. I don't say shit to them.
Right.
I also, if they say anything to me, we move on. It's like, I don't want to be a jerk, but I also don't want to give them anything. But one other thing I also do is, I think about somebody coming over to the table. Now, I have a huge problem sitting at the side of a table and watching a game, which I love to do. Brandon yells about it so much. Every Monday night we go to tabletop and I sit there and watch.
That's because all he does is sit there and watch a game all night.
I watch 4 or 5 games and I love it.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do that I feel weird doing this to people I don't know, but I've noticed...
Interrupting the game and asking a question like...
No, telling somebody, hey, no, that...
You did that wrong.
Moving tokens or something like that. It's like, no, that can't be there. Like, hey, this, or remember this. Like, I don't want to... Like, I told Jeremy, it's like...
You
hey,
can't
don't
Iron Flesh your Doom Reavers, buddy.
It's like, well, no, not even rules things, but like reminding about little things. Like, reminding, like, no, they have +2 this, remember? Or command check. Like, I'll just call that as if I'm some sort of de facto bullshit judge where I'm just an asshole who's watching the game, and I'm probably missing a rule that
You're
they're both
game
already
night organizer. What are you talking about?
And, like, they're both already aware of it and have already moved on past it, but, like, I'm trying to remind them of rules. But it's like, when I go to tournaments, and I've had this happen to me, I'm sitting down there playing against somebody, and this is a much newer player. Like, I love this guy. He's he's my favorite person in the world. You know Joey. Playing against Joey, and he's played, I think Joey at one point has painted a model, and I think he played a battle box game, and aside from that, he played at this tournament in one game. Brandon likes to convince me Joey's played more games than that. It's not true. But Joey had a perfect assassination on Kraos 3, and he had Goreshade 3. Like, it was just, there was like, he had to do one thing, and that's like kill one model because I didn't spell ward something. No, I didn't put holy ward on my caster. Mm-hmm. And all I do was he had a perfect assassination by killing one model with something else. It was the simplest thing for him to figure out, but I was like, okay, well, Joey, this is like middle school for this game. I expect you to see this. And I had no qualms. I already got the bye. I was going to lose this tournament. I'm pretty bad anyway. So I was expecting Joey to see this, kind of egg him around a little bit. And someone comes over, and then in the middle of this tournament, like, our table was like, no, Joey, you just need to move this guy. I'm like, okay, you don't go to someone's table and start saying shit. And it's like, no point at that game had I had fun at that point. I wanted to flip the table, I just wanted to start screaming. I know it's not necessarily a tilting moment, but it's like...
Not only has he ruined the game for you, but he's ruined the game for your opponent.
It's like...
it's no longer a game of you two as players. It's now game by committee, people come over and tell you what to do.
But... Yeah,
That's
exactly.
super annoying.
Right,
super annoying
because now it's an irreparable game state, because now it doesn't matter if he would have come up with that on his own. He was told to do it because it's what he needed to do.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, he's about to try and assassinate you. He's like, activate your choir. It doesn't matter now. Like, it's too late. That will never not affect the situation. Like,
yeah. Well, there are metal players, and we'll all say this forever, a lot of us forget our choir. Like, every metal player at some point has forgotten their choir, and been like, damn it. If you at any point have ever not forgotten your choir, you are not a metal player. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's the only faction you ever played.
What if I was playing a list that was only heavy jacks?
Do you have choir?
There was no choir in the list.
Oh, then it's like, both lists I've been taking to tournaments lately, neither of them have choir. But...
I've never forgot my beast handler, Spence.
Are beast handlers choir? They're not the same thing.
They're scorn choir.
Scorn choir?
Yeah.
I'm going to battle my beasts.
You might say they're squires.
That's not a thing. Anyway,
Fires
back to
and
tilting,
fires.
but it's like, okay, you're just keeping a positive mentality while you're playing the game, and keep a positive mentality with other people's games. And I don't know, I mean, have you ever noticed, okay, you do this actually, you did this for me, like you did this when we went out to Des Moines, is that the real place where we met all them and played in that tournament?
That is where the Muse guys are, yes.
Where you had Gordon and I had Harvey, and like I went in on something, and like I mean,
Yes.
that whole game, I was like, I was right there on the verge. I was right there. I'm like,
You never seemed to go over the edge, but you were
I
like,
was right.
all I had to do was say the
but
wrong
you kept
word.
talking me down the whole time. I won that game by some
No,
ridiculous
you
stretch.
definitely lost that game.
Oh, because I gave up half. No, because I came on the
You
charge.
conceded to take a move back.
That was it. But still, it's like that was whenever I play you. A lot of times, it's like you can talk me out of tilting just a little bit.
I
Just a
can
little
usually keep you in control.
It's-
because I'm actively talking to you the whole time. Like, Spence, calm down. Spence.
Puny harbinger, and I'm like screaming, ready to like break the table. It's so
my
bad.
favorite parts are when I'm just like, I just move up a model without measuring, and you're just like,
Fuck you.
You know it's in the perfect spot, and you just
I-
get so mad.
Well, it's like, okay, last night our adjudicators were facing off. I look over, I'm like, God, I know it's not within 12. I know it's not within 11. I know it's not within 11. I even took that bullshit shot with my rockets at, like, way behind. I was like, just because I went... Oh, God damn it, I knew it.
How far away was it? It was like 11 and a quarter.
No, you were 12. You
I
were
was
like,
12? Okay.
I needed 11 and a half, and you were 12. It was like...
Just snipe him.
Snipe who?
The adjudicator. No, he wanted to charge my adjudicator.
I couldn't trade shots with the adjudicator and win because he had mechanics and he had...
I had a mechanic, and I was willing to passage my adjudicator,
well,
and I had Iona and Holt.
Well, okay, yeah, you had
I could
passage,
still shoot you.
You had Iona and Holt, you had mechanic, and you also had fortify. So you out-armored me. It's like there was no way I could
there's
have
no way
traded.
you're going to win the gun battle.
I couldn't have traded that gun battle, so I had to get my jack on yours, so I had to edge forward a little bit. And it was just like... At that point, it's like, are you kidding me? And that's one thing, when it comes to strengths as players, Richard, it's like, one thing I feel like I'm very good at is I can leverage pieces versus other pieces. I feel very confident about that whenever I hit the table. Like, I'm okay. Don't give me that look. Shut up. Well, like, the
Like
adjudicator,
trading your loss, knowing that you know, basically I'll give you 6 points of my army, knowing that I can take 10 of yours.
no, I'm just always confident in knowing what it's going to take to take something out on the enemy side. Like, I know what I need
So
to
you
invest.
believe that your resource allocation is very efficient?
When it comes to when it comes to focus efficiency, I'm terrible at it.
No, I'm saying, like, I know exactly how many things I need to use to kill this piece.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like very rarely do I have excess floating around, and very rarely do I not have enough committed. It's something that I'm used to that. I'm used to knowing naturally what I need to put where. How many weapon masters take out a Khador Warjack? I just know what to put where. And you're very good at the numbers thing. Like, you can crunch these numbers. I've heard you and Max do this, like, just... You start spouting math, I'm like, God, we're jerking off.
And he's like, I don't know what's happening. I just push this at it. And
It's like, I mean, it's this, and it's gonna work. And, but...
Or you just get really lucky.
One thing... really lucky. That's why my two favorite things in the game are Force Hammer and the Judicator's Drifts, because... I mean, actually, no. My Vanquisher, its drifts.
Your Vanquisher's stupid.
It's ridiculously accurate.
I drifted 5 to the 1 because that's maximum drift range. It has like 1/82nd of your caster's base under the template. You're like, guess I'm on fire. Like,
Enjoy that. It's like I've done that so many
all right,
times.
fire roll doesn't go out. Boxcars. Well, I guess I'm on half my life. So
I actually did that to Parker. He was playing Sturgis like a million years ago, and I just like drifted an arbitrary vassal. Yes, a million years ago. Sturgis. Well, Parker can do things like that. He's amazing.
Oh, okay.
So I drifted my 4-inch AOE like 4 inches over this direction, like toward there. It's like just happened to clip him, and like it clipped nothing else. It wasn't like, oh, I can't believe it went that direction. That's the only way it could have gone that would have been beneficial.
Right.
Anywhere else hit nothing. And it's, he's all like, oh, when things don't go the way they're supposed to go. Watching Jeremy play.
Jeremy Constance.
No, I love Jeremy Constance is my second favorite Jeremy in the whole wide world. Jeremy Gregg. Watching him is the only place you can ever watch Steelhead Rifleman do work.
you've never seen them tear
Especially
up
against
Miss
Nis.
That was amazing.
Except for Taryn De La Ravisi, who is apparently the natural predator of Steelhead Riflemen.
That's so,
Well, yeah.
She killed like 8 of them.
that's so bad.
They were on a hill.
That's so
She
bad.
was just murdering them. It was amazing.
Why is it a problem that a gun mage kills armor 12 models?
It's not.
It's not. It's
amazing.
She killed 157 of them.
You would think that at some point they would have shot her back and killed her.
She is tough.
No, she doesn't.
With Rutger Shaw, she does.
Okay, so how do you fight? How do you stop? Because I mean, if you're a person who notices that you do, how do you stop yourself?
First step is recognizing you're tilting, or you're getting upset. Even you could define them differently. Like tilting is saying that your emotions are affecting your play. It's beyond that to say you are legitimately upset at the situation. Like something's happened. Like you're pissed off at who you're playing because he's a total dick. Or you're pissed off at the way your dice are rolling, or you're pissed off at the matchup you're in, or that the TO let him put 5 walls in a zone and it's just all on his side of the board. Whatever reason you're upset. If you're actually upset and you're playing like a death clock situation, once it hits your turn, literally walk away from the table, go to the bathroom, go get a drink, spend at least 5 minutes away from the table, and even just go talk to somebody about an unrelated topic. It's like, go talk to me like, hey, are you watching the Royals game, or whatever the situation might be? Like, find something to distract yourself from it, and then re-enter the situation. And then look at it with a fresh perspective, and try and take it like that. Like when you were playing Parker, as soon as you got to take your second turn, or your first turn, and you're like, alright, we're done deploying, I'm really upset, Parker took his first turn, and he switched it to me. I know I don't have to worry about my death clock because I'm playing Parker, and there's no way he will death clock me. You just walk away, go outside, make a call one of your friends for no reason, and just talk to them for a minute, and then come back.
I thought those were booty calls.
Then it would only take half a second.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Excuse me, guys, I go to the bathroom.
So I see what you mean. It's just a lot of times it's hard not to be mad at the game. It's hard not to be mad at the game state when everything's like.
But you're not going to get less mad by being in the same situation.
Well, to your statement there, Brandon, why are you mad? Are you mad because you didn't plan very well? You don't know your army very well? Are you mad because your opponent spiked crazy dice?
But
Is he
either
a better
way,
player?
at the point you are probably currently in, there's no way you can change those things. Like, you can't go back and remember to allocate focus. You can't go back and make your opponent not roll bad. Like, you're in the situation you're in right now. As soon as it gets to your time where you're allowed to do whatever you want with your clock, because it is extremely rude to walk away when your opponent's on his turn. You need to wait for it to get to your turn. You can do whatever the fuck you want with your time, as long as you're not getting advice from other people. And you just walk around the table and clear your head. And then when you come back, you can think about what to do with the situation you're in, because you can't change it. If you're thinking your opponent is cheating or something, and you want to go talk to the TO, I think he's moving, he's doing, drifting his tape measure. He's moving, an extra half inch when he's charging my guys. He shouldn't be making these charges. Go talk to the TO about it. Because even if you are wrong, and he's not cheating you, and you're being a dick by trying to call him on it, telling the TO to ask him to watch your game for a while is not going to hurt your opponent. It's not going to hurt you. It's just going to make you feel better.
Well, okay, I will say, however, just I'll put a caveat there. If you feel like you're playing somebody who is cheating...
Well, there's difference between active cheating and,
I completely
not
agree.
playing correctly.
Well, no, in your mind, this is one thing that I've actually worked on a lot, and I feel like I used to have a player that I played against consistently who did those things, and I said, I honestly don't feel like he was cheating in a way that's I'm gonna
You're just not doing your best to make sure you are playing correctly.
I even think it's a subconscious thing. Sometimes when he moves things, I felt like it was... Now, it's sort of thing where if you call him on it, it becomes a big fight. If you try and fight over it, there's no point in that. I got to the point right now where if I'm playing a game against somebody and I feel like one or two things are happening, and it's one of those people who are cheating, quote unquote, how they're doing it, I just don't care anymore. I honestly, at this point, it's it doesn't matter if I win or lose. And if it's happening at a tournament, I may mention something and let it be that point. But I think that I have, in my subtle tournament career that I've had, I have never experienced somebody in the community who, if you just mention something, they won't at least have a valid conversation about it. Mm-hmm. I imagine there are people out there, and that's going to be few and far between, but that's, if that comes up, just at that point, proceed your avenue like you're going to. But if I'm playing against somebody even in a casual game, and they start doing something, I just don't care if I win anymore. At that point, I'm just going to okay, now I don't have to be strategic anymore, because I'm going to lose. Because if I try and play this tight and correctly, I'm going to lose. Mm. So I'm just going to throw things out there. I'll be crazy about it. I'm going to have fun, and I'm not going to care. And it doesn't matter because I already lost this game. And it has nothing to do with I just want to have fun now. But you can't let them ruin that whole time for you. And the more and the more loose you play, but then if it's the other way around and you're playing against somebody who's newer and they don't know what they're doing effectively, why are you angry at them?
Yeah.
Why? It's like and everybody's played that game where you're playing against somebody who flat out doesn't want to know the rules. They don't want to know how to play correctly. They don't want to be good at the game. Who cares? I just put it away. Don't let that make you tilt. I mean, out of all the reasons that I tilt, and I get whiny and I throw things and as badly as I do, those things don't make me tilt. So if those are things that are making someone tilt, I think that person, like, if that's making you as a listener tilt, just take a step back and be like, this is at this point, you wanted to have a really good game, and if you're having Richard's issue or my friend Dan's issue where you only get to play very rarely and scheduling of games is difficult and they're wasting your game, then make it a quick game. Run your crap up there. Move on. Don't make a fight over it. Don't be that guy in the scene who has to make things right or be right. Who cares? Just don't play that asshole again. Mm-hmm. There are people in the community that I see every week that I just don't play. I won't play them, and it's not because... Yes, Max, you. Age of Egos in the forums.
Nice.
There are people who I don't play, and it's not like a big deal with me fighting with them, like, no, I'm not going to play you. And there's never been a conversation had between me and them about why I won't play them. I just don't do it, because it's either...
you only play me in Chicago?
I only played you in Chicago because I was drunk, and quite frankly, I still feel like I'm waiting for the test to come back to see whether or not it was positive.
Richard, I think I talked to you a little bit earlier. Did you have something you wanted to bring up?
Well, I look at it this way. This isn't my job. At my job and with my family, you got to work along with people. You might not get along with them all that great, but you have to. But this is my hobby. So if there's a douchebag sitting across the table from me whom suspecting of cheating, I'm not going to ruin my good time or my weekend or my day by trying to out-argue somebody who has the audacity to show up and cheat in front of 30 other people. Like, that just to me goes, well, all right, so now we know your character. So, I'm not going to make an issue of it, right then. Everyone will know about it afterwards, and then from then on out, I'll never play a game against that person again, or I'll never seek out a casual game against that person. I think people that lose their shit at tournaments, or when they're losing real bad and they basically vocalize, it's one thing to go, oh man, that sucked, or just to go like, that's fucking bullshit, and just to get real loud about it. Certain personalities are animated, and it just goes along with them. But a sore loser just makes you feel guilty for winning, and that's like, dude, I get my credit for playing a good game. Why can't you, not be a piss-poor baby about it, and let me just enjoy it? Dice, everyone's gotten screwed by dice, and everyone, the next game, has gotten amazing dice. I've missed every tough check on a game, and then against Brandon made every single tough check and killed every one of his guys, and he made no tough checks. It's dice. And, unless it's a skill issue, and that's what's causing you to not do well in a particular game, or, crappy terrain, and, just the worst possible combination of terrain and scenario. I don't know. I mean, I just don't see that many reasons to be that pissed,
Since we're already on the topic of talking about, calling a judge for cheaters and stuff, if you're in a situation where you come over and you think the terrain on the table is unfairly set up based on... Because, stuff probably got pushed to the side because of, scenario zones and stuff like that. Never be afraid to call the tournament organizer and ask them if he thinks that this is a valid table to be played on. So there's, a 12-inch forest in the middle of a zone, and there's a building in between the two zones, and the other zone, there's, a big forest, and, there's literally, 30 inches of no line of sight across the table, and you're like, Judge, can you please do something about this table? It's never feel bad about calling judge, because the judge is an impartial third party. They're there to make the decision, so neither player feels bad.
Well, and like I said, I feel like this community, and across the board, every player I've talked to, every player I went, when we went to Chicago, everybody I've talked to so far, every game that I've seen, everybody's they want to have a good game. I mean, when you sit down, unless they're Legion players, they want to have a good game. They want to enjoy.
They're Legion players.
Fuck Legion. I feel like if you're playing against somebody who wants a severe advantage on their side when it comes to terrain and a severe disadvantage on that's not going to be a playable game. It's not fun. Like if your opponent's hamstringed because it's like, okay, your entire half of the board is all rough terrain and you have 3-inch line of sight. My whole side is just walls and we all have Pathfinder. It's like nobody wants to play that game actually. I mean, we could both sit here and just say like, hey Brandon, you want to play a game? Yeah. Do you want to win this one? Yeah. Okay, you win this one. You want to do it again? Sure. It's like that's not a...
Yeah.
There's no... Most people who play this game, they put these models together and they really want that. Okay, so I went into assassinate and then I jumped over this and I had to put up this convoluted roll where I killed that, but then my assassination failed. That was... Oh, that sucked. Oh, that sucks so hard. But then you came in and your assassination failed back on me, but then I got to kill you. It's like... That's awesome. Like, everybody loves those games. They can remember those games where there's just a damn good game back and forth. How many people remember the game where it's like, well, my caster stood behind this building 48 inches away from your caster, and you stood in that building, and then our stuff kind of fought over here. I think that if you sit down at the table, like, TO aside, I mean, you get the TO because if you all can't agree with it, both all sitting there, it's like, so, do we want to play on this, or do we want to move some stuff around, or what do you think of that? Like, ask your opponent, because a lot of times you're both on the same page. Yeah, because, hell, you haven't even rolled to see who gets what yet, because they don't want to get screwed. They don't want that side. It's like...
I feel if you can't...
Unless you're Legion. Fuck Legion.
I feel if you can't, like, figure it out between your opponent, you have to call it TO over to move terrain, then, you know, that should be like, ding, ding, ding. This might not be a fun game. Because...
Well, that's not necessarily true because... I'm sorry to cut you off, but there was I got into a situation it was actually Masters at Feast of Blades, and I played 3 Legion players in a row. There was seriously a 14 by 6 inch forest in the exact middle of the table. And, like, he looked at me, and he looked at the table, and he looked back at me, and we hadn't rolled for side yet, and I was just like, I'm going to call a TO and have him look at the table, and he's like, okay. Like, he didn't want me to, but he knew that I was going to, and I was completely justified in doing so. And when the judge got there, he was like, yeah, this is stupid. Like, he immediately took the forest off the table and put, like, a hill there or something, and we were like, okay.
Well, I feel like most players, especially at the end where you're actually investing the time to go travel and everything, there's going to be few and far between, but I feel like this community's good enough.
You don't want those stupid fucking not games to happen.
The only time I'll play that sort of thing is whenever I'm, playing Max.
Yeah.
Because Max doesn't play Legion.
That's true.
I could.
Please don't. You're my favorite person ever. I don't want you to ever stop being my favorite person ever.
I'm just going to carry my Legion around and just let people borrow it to play against you.
My last game against Legion went pretty well. What? I lit everything on fire at the bottom of 1.
That didn't happen.
I
watched that game. That did not happen.
I'm sorry, 2 of his models were dead.
Okay.
Everything else was lit on fire.
Sorry, Richard. I cut you off.
Well, no, I've already forgotten.
Good.
My last Legion game went pretty well.
Did you win that game?
Yes. God dang, Synergy is so awesome.
It's pretty good against Legion.
It just goes... It's like watching a Price is Right, that big wheel at the end, and it's like... Doop, 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 and you're like, oh my god, I'm almost at $1. Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up, because it's just
so bad.
Take Prime Axiom, add 1,000, and put it on anything.
You should just...
It's so fun. It's so fun.
But you guys can hear about my last Legion game.
Oh god.
Ooh.
He's on Miami episode 50.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
What?
How many times did your heavies get shadowbound?
At least 3 turns in a row.
He was put refuge on Bale, and Bale has spray... Or is he melee attack shadowbind?
Yeah, melee attacks are...
And he has 2 attacks.
Yeah.
So he was charging in and shadowbinding 2 heavies that were right next to each other, and then refuging away, and then walking up and doing it again. He did 3 turns in a row. He had 2 heavies shadowbound.
That's horrifying.
With mercs. So he's like, I am so fucked already.
That's so horrifying. You should have one of your heavies throw your
Yeah,
own
you
heavy.
already brought a Nomad. What other negative did you need?
Yeah.
You could have pushed it. I don't know.
A Mangler. He needed the Mangler, too.
I had the Mangler. It died.
Okay, so on the concept of keeping a clear head, if you do notice you're getting upset in a game, step 1 is recognizing. Step 2 is either trying to clear your head to get not upset anymore, or understand that while upset, you must still continue to play at a high level, which is doable, but much harder. If you can manage to get your head straight by, like, walking away, taking a breath. Like, I've seen people at tournaments walk away from their table on their clock, go talk to the judge for 5 minutes about something. And he's like, hey, how are the standings going? He's like, oh, did you win? He's like, well, I'm still playing. And he's like, oh, okay. And, like, just talk about something else to just get the whatever you're thinking about out of your head and come back, reevaluate your situation, and come up with a plan.
Look at your opponent. Just look at them for a minute. Like, don't look in their eyes.
Look at him like, what would you do if I
Don't make it creepy.
Right,
don't make it weird. But think to yourself, this dude's going to have a memory of this game with me. Do I want to be the motherfucker that was that guy? Do I want to be that guy?
I think that's step 4. We're not there yet.
No, that's...
You want to be that guy.
I love that Max has a knife out. He's all like, I'm going to be that guy. Anytime I can be that guy, I'm going to be that guy.
Try and remember that you need to think through every aspect of the game. So if you're trying to come up with a plan, don't just go for assassinations because you're upset. Don't just try and keep playing attrition if it's not working. And don't try and win on scenario when it's not going to happen. You know, think about every option available to you and then think about what is actually your best bet of winning. Now, if you just absolutely like refuse to play against the person you're playing against anymore for whatever reason, maybe assassination is the best route, because then you can just concede if you fail and get out of the game.
Just go do some crazy shit.
Yeah, just go jump through a window.
Crazy shit. How often you play a game and you're trying to be like, I gotta make the right move, How often is it just fun, just like, I'm gonna do some stupid shit, fuck you. Yeah, they may kill you the next turn, but then your game's over. But you at least got to try for something stupid.
No, I think that's exactly the opposite of what I said, actually.
Like,
I know.
Obliteration.
Yeah, just keep casting a double boosted obliteration at their caster every turn.
Max, tell me, just start doing crazy shit. Tell them. Sometimes your fucking drudge makes a million tough rolls.
Like a spider monkey.
Very much. Seriously. That'd be awesome. I mean, oh, God, I have no hope in it. I'm just going to do some stupid shit. We're going to make some crazy shit happen.
Okay, so back to reality.
My game, so.
Don't just do crazy shit.
I have a suggestion. It always helps me.
Okay.
Masturbate just a little.
But like,
start belittling your opponent.
Well, okay, so there's stuff that I do that is hilarious to me.
You can't just do it.
I just put my forearms on the table and I just kind of lean forward and I go, okay, what's your caster at? What's defense and armor? And they step back and because obviously, like, I'm in a position where I'm going to lose. But all you have to do is like fake like you know what the hell you're doing. And sometimes all that does is change the atmosphere on the table.
So it changes where their head's at, for sure.
Yeah, then all of a sudden they're like, what does this dude have? What's he going to do? And it might give you a little boost of confidence. You know, if you're already going to go bananas on this turn because that's your last option, man, sell it. Sell it 100%.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's exactly what I did not say to do.
I understand you're saying that. We are not agreeing. Okay, yes, you're valid. That makes sense. But sometimes, okay, if you look down and you're literally, well, let's say you're at the point where you're tilting, you're not enjoying the game. Have fun. Like, I mean, just make it. It is a game first and foremost. And if you've decided,
okay.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying focus on the having fun portion of it. And what I meant is the game is obviously skill. It's a certain amount of luck, and it's mental too. And it doesn't mean that you need to be all, harmonious and I'm calm and I do everything right. You can fuck with your opponent's head, and I don't mean like to be a dick about it, but there are players that we've played against who do things with their arms and the way they lean onto the table that to maybe certain people is intimidating, and that can change how you react. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the coolest way to influence and play somebody, but if you exude confidence and your opponent thinks that you have this like amazing ability to pull shit out of nowhere, they will go, oh man, maybe I need to play a little more aggressively because he's going to get me, so I got to do this. And then they make a mistake and you trick them into it. No.
That's definitely, I mean, that's just a good concept to have, like, to try and make your opponent not understand what you're doing, because the actual definition of tilting, I believe, comes from poker, which is when you can tell what the guy is doing. He's doing a really bad job of containing his intentions. Like, he's lost his poker face is what it means when you tilt. But
Oh, I thought it was just a...
Right, it's been adapted to this game that you get upset. But, so, what I was saying earlier, I said, don't, think about it clearly, try and get into a state of mind that will be positive, and you will actually come up with good ideas from. If you're to the point where you've already lost the game and you're tilting, then probably your best bet is to go for an assassination, but just going for one isn't going to necessarily win you game. Try and actually think it through. Once you've decided on the game plan you're going to take, try and plan it to every possible option. Like, make sure you're doing every little thing. Don't forget that you can do power attacks and stuff. Think about all the avenues you have to accomplish your goal, and try to come up with the best opportunity. If you think that playing mind games with your opponent, like trying to convince them that you're going for scenario and you're not, they might overcommit to a zone. Like, if you've already got 2 points, you're like, and you could verbally say, it's like, well, I guess my only chance is to win on scenario. But you're not really planning to, and you move stuff in positions that makes it look like you're posturing for scenario, they could overcommit because they think you're all in on scenario, which gives you an attrition advantage. And then you can switch it up on them. Stuff like that is potentially good. I still think that your best opportunity is usually going to be just find a way to think about things clearly. I don't know how else to put it.
That's because you're trying to be level-headed and make sense of things and be successful and good at things.
But once you've recognized that you're upset, it's now a conscious decision for you to not change your mind. Like, you can change your mental state by thinking about it if you actually try.
I agree.
It's like, you might be to the point where you don't care anymore, and if you've stopped caring about the game, you're to the point where you basically want to hit your opponent, even if it's not their fault. You're just mad at dice. Like, whatever the situation is, you're to that point. You need to walk away from the table, regardless if you come back or not. Like, you need to just go calm down, because it's not worth it.
According to quantum mechanics, you can actually affect the outcome of the dice by your mental state.
That's true. I totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. I loved Quantum Leap as a kid. It was the coolest show. Oh, wait.
How old are you?
Let's not talk about that. One thing to...
Big Scott Bakula fan right here.
Well, didn't you ask how old I was?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not the oldest person.
He's no spring chicken.
I mean, fall, maybe.
Maybe.
Wait,
so,
Richard, what month?
What month?
Yeah,
November.
what month were you born?
November.
Damn, I'm the oldest.
You say you're the oldest, huh?
Yes.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
You don't know how old I am.
So, anyways, back to the topic. One thing I wanted to say about the making the best decisions part is not drinking 7 cans of Mountain Dew, not eating breakfast and eating Doritos, and then wondering, why does my head hurt? Why am I making
Does anyone else's chest hurt really bad?
Like, why am I making so many poor decisions? Well, it all started with the 7-hour drive after a full week's worth of work, and then 2.5 hours of sleep, which was preceded by 4 hours of drinking.
Yeah.
And then like all of those things play a big factor in your ability to
Hey, I played
clearly.
some of my best Warmachine on literally no sleep.
And you played some of your worst Warmachine with you just come out of it in a fog and a haze. Like, if you were thinking clearly...
Are you talking about me specifically? Because that's not true.
Well, I'm just...
Oh, that fucking piece of blades. Oh, God.
Piece of Blades was good.
So
My favorite was still this last Adepticon, even though I played literally one game of Warmachine. So, Richard, has there ever been a point when you got really upset in a game that you actually managed to get back from the point where you upset during the game?
Do you want to talk about our game?
That's fine. I mean, did you stop being upset at any point before the game ended?
No, I was furious.
I was pretty upset too.
And the thing that... okay, here's my version of it. We played a game, and models got knocked over. Basically, models got knocked over. There was no way for the TO to make a judgment call. And that's basically when I just was like, screw this. You've now got a heavy on my caster. And the intention was all of these models are in a position where to prevent that. So when my game plan is disintegrated by crappy terrain or leaning on one side of the table and having a 4-foot wide table sitting on a 8-inch wide support, so that it just becomes a giant, literal tilting seesaw, and just stuff falls over. And you're like, great, I just lost the game because we needed to double up tables.
So and that's what you were talking about earlier?
Well, that's part of it. Like, I try not to get pissed when I'm losing the game, because I'm there to have fun.
Right.
Frustration is different than losing all ability to control your emotions. And that's kind of, I guess, what I'm taking this conversation as. Frustration.
Well, I was thinking of a situation more like when we played at Daikon and you got really pissed. Or not Daikon, Recruits. In the Mangle Battle when I was playing Earthbreaker?
No, I wasn't pissed. That's one of those...
Well, I felt like for a brief moment you were really upset, and then you immediately decided, let's just have fun with this.
This goes along with getting A, enough sleep, B, not having a diet consisting of Mountain Dew and Doritos, and rolling up into it. Because I think I was drinking a giant thermos of coffee.
Yeah, you were.
And walking in and going, I kind of like P. Grin this week. What am I going to play him with? 2 bombers and an impaler. And, like, not thinking things through, not basically, and when you rolled the best dice you could possibly roll and took 10 points off the table with half a model's activation, I was like, you suck, dude. Because
so everyone else understands what happens. I played an Earthbreaker in Mangled Metal, and without Thor on top of 2, I killed his bomber on a hill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Average dice.
Yeah.
It was pretty average.
Dice
on 5.
Like, in that scenario, if that had happened in a 50-point game, chances are it still would have had a chance, because you've got more models to choose from.
It's just a huge swing.
But when 10 out of my 25 points are now gone.
It was 15-point Mangled.
So it was even worse.
Yeah, you literally had caster points plus 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, in that situation, what do you do? Well, you have fun, and then I just went super sarcastic, and, like, you can go watch the video.
Yeah, the video's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. So
Gorton versus Prime Grim in Mangled Metal.
Yeah. So, that game was just, in my opinion, goofy. But it's funny that you find that one the one that I was the most upset when...
No, I knew you weren't legitimately upset, but I felt like for a minute you were upset, and then you decided, let's just have fun. And I had fun, too, while we were playing. Like, I couldn't stop laughing the whole time.
And that's when, like, I don't know if it's experience/maturity. I'm not saying I'm either of those, but what are you going to get mad at? You know, if this is the finals table on a giant con, you know, then you're playing the tightest game you should ever play. And if you're at a point where something that you don't know is coming just came, you're not experienced enough to be in that position. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You should know everything that's going to happen, and it's just basically a game of you playing the tightest game, then playing the tightest game, and making the smallest of mistakes beneficial for you. And if things upset you that much, this is the wrong game. You know, like you should be playing something that is let's paint pictures. You know, as a team. I mean, I don't know. It's like this is a very competitive game, and if you can't stand losing or even having a really shitty situation present itself, then I think as an adult who's spending their own money freely on this hobby, you should make a decision if this is the best choice for you. If this happens all the time. If it happens once in a while, oh well.
Yeah, I know of people that have not liked the way they approach the game, or at least approach the game while within a game or a match. And they've taken a while and stepped away and then tried to come back later on with a different mindset or maybe a little bit more maturity, and it seems to be working out for them. So
yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know, I try to apply this logic in lots of stuff, but, you know, in life you got all these situations and things that pop up in front of you, and the only thing that you truly have power over is how you react to them. So by losing your cool, dude, you already lost, you know? Like, if you let that affect you, then you're wasting energy, time, you know, resources on being pissed, and, you know, you can't do anything about it. Just, like, I think the best players are the ones that come back from a really crappy situation that maybe I would have broken down and been like, screw this, I'm just gonna end the game. And they end up winning. Like, holy crap, that game is gonna be the most memorable game, you know, for the longest time. I don't know.
I've done that before. I've done that plenty of times where I've been really pissed off about a game, really angry about a game, and then, like, after a whole turn of, like, God damn, just throwing shit, like, I'm so mad at everything my opponent just did. Then I look down the table and I'm like,
I win this, don't I?
Oh.
But don't you feel, like, super proud about those games?
I feel really bad about, it's almost shame in the fact, like, why was I whining so much?
Yeah. Like,
it's like, I mean, on my turn, it's like if I just roll over everything my opponent has, like, ha ha ha, I killed everything you had. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna move over here to this. I'm just, you know, casually playing my game. And then they start doing the exact same thing to me, and I'm like, what? Your model has attacks too? And, like, it's like, I mean, I feel really ashamed whenever I do that. Like, I look back and I'm like, God damn, why was I that guy?
Models that did things?
Like, this is, like, wait.
Asshole.
You brought that thing? It has guns?
It just seems like very juvenile. I don't mean to alienate anybody, but, like, if you want to hear people complain about stuff, like, go play Call of Duty, get on any game on Xbox Live, you know, listen to griefers and just whining all the time. You know, I think it has a place, and that's probably at the end of the game. Or if someone, you know, is trying to roll a hard 11 and they hit it, dude, you should be like, that's, wow, I can't believe you got that. Who cares? You know? That's just me. And that's probably why I don't give two craps about placing and winning and all that stuff, because, you know, just, that stuff doesn't bother me. It used to. I don't get hung up on the stuff you can't change, because you can't change it. And you can't change what's unchangeable. Change.
I can.
Changes. All that kind of stuff.
So does anybody else feel like we have not talked enough about this?
I think we should bring up Parker again.
We should bring up Parker again.
I think we should stretch it out for another
Please
20
don't.
minutes.
20 minutes, that way we can do a solid 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But what about Parker, though?
I think
Parker didn't want to podcast with us because we're not the cool kids.
He specifically said that.
I think he did.
I'm going to read it off of, it says it here on this.
On verbatim.com.
I have to make sure this is his phone number because he won't let me save his phone number in my phone. It says, no, whoever you are, stop messaging me. I don't want to be on your little podcast.
That
He
sounds
put
like something
podcasting
Parker would
quotes.
say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He also wrote douche, but I mean, I don't think he spelled it
For
correctly.
the love of God, stop texting me.
Spence, that was me.
Oh, I saved your number. Oh, your new number.
I feel like the griefing topic kind of dealt more with sportsmanship, and maybe they're the same. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
If you grief anyone that you're not good friends with, you should probably reevaluate how you congratulate your opponent.
Well, that's also just being a. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're a dick, you're a dick. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
And if you don't get that, it's like, just beat you, you fucking moron. It's like, I mean, the fact is that dude not hitting you right now? Like, you can't treat people like that.
I don't think somebody who is like, I know it's an extreme to
Does anybody
make a laugh. Like, there's no place in this community for that kind of crap. And I don't think I've ever been to a tournament where that even remotely would have been
No.
encouraged. You would be like, get the fuck out of here. You know,
Everybody I've
30
met in this
people would be
community
like,
has been nice.
just go.
Everybody I've met in this community has been nice.
Yeah.
Do you need me to drop names?
You can feel free to audience, but I'm talking about people that I've met. I've heard of people.
What about people you've known?
I don't know what that means.
All right.
Biblically?
New topic. All right. Well, I think we're done talking unless anybody has anything else they want to cover.
Watch more battle reports.
Watch more of our battle reports.
Oh my god, they're so good. Okay, you know my big ass TV. Well, you don't know it because I bought a big ass TV for my living room. Like, it's the biggest thing I own. Okay, huge fucking TV, and I actually can stream YouTube through it because I'm sorry, it's normal for everybody else. I got an app on my TV. It's the weirdest thing I know of. I'm so technologically unintelligent, but like I can. So I said I brought up YouTube. I'm like, hey, that's a game of me. I'm playing someone. So on my huge TV, on my
I wish we had recorded that fucking Haley 1 game. Oh my god, I would play that on loop all day. It was so funny.
Well, I was sitting there watching. It's like I'm watching myself play this game. I'm like, this is great watching me play this game. Yep.
I wonder what I do next.
I hear myself say something. And I'm like, God, do I sound like that? I listen to our podcast. I'm like, I sound like. Oh my god. Max, why didn't you tell me?
Speaking of our channel, did you see our newest comment we had on all of our videos? Was exactly how I feel when I play Haley.
Oh, yeah.
Or play against Denny 1. And it's a link, and he has a timestamp of you playing against Jake, and you're like, no, my guy's armor 17. He's like, yeah, but I feeded. And you're like, and you out loud do the math, and you realize that he actually did kill you. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ! You slam your model down on
Do I do that?
Yes.
That is so odd on the Jake game, right?
16 minutes and like 20 seconds.
God, Jake is my kryptonite. That motherfucker, every time I play a game against him, that one time, I lose, like every single time.
Every single of that one time.
Every single of that one time.
Every single time.
Jake is one of my favorite people to talk to about this game whenever all these games are going on. Played him one time. I hated every moment of it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. What is this? I haven't played Denny 1 since like 2003. So it's like, I see her on the table. I know she is like, I put her against me. I'm like, I don't know what my mom's supposed to do. Like, am I playing this game? What's going on here?
All right. Well, let's wrap up. So, Richard, I'd like to thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We have a special sign out we're going to do for you.
Oh, God.
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're f***ed up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
So we just want to let you know that.
Okay, side note, just so everybody's aware of this. Okay, I told Brandon this earlier. Brandon's been saying that shit all the fucking time, and I can't get it right. Like, I can't remember quotes at all.
It takes a while to remember all three of them.
It's like, so...
Wait. Did you just play something?
Yeah, could you not hear it?
No, I couldn't.
Don't worry about it.
Damn it!
It's gonna be great.
Okay, so I remember it. So I looked it up this morning when I got to work in my office. Okay, I looked it up on my phone. Okay, I know this quote. So I watched a little bit of video. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. So I walked to one of my coworkers' offices that I give shit all the time. I walked past the guy in his office because I figured it was another one of our coworkers sitting there. I glanced over a black jacket, tall guy, know who that is. I look at him and I just fucking say it to him, and he looks up at me like my coworker looks at me. He's like, leave? Like, he just has like, I'm like,
so confused.
I'm missing something. So I turn around, I'm like, nope, that's a customer. And then I keep fucking walking out of the office. And I'm like, oh shit, I just got fired. That's my recognition. It's not the worst, okay? Okay, at my business, the owner's wife, very, very sheltered woman, incredibly nice and polite and bubbly-eyed. She's walking around doing designing for the building is what she's doing. Multi-billionaire chick. So she's like walking around doing all this designing. I'm sitting in my office, don't even know she's there that day. Bored to tears, nothing going on my computer. I take a phone call, and when I hang up the phone, suddenly a voice member goes, "What's fuck YOLO mean?" And I look at my screen, and it's an old fucking meme. It has like Drake and Justin Bieber. It's like, fuck YOLO. And I'm like, oh shit, please tell me the owner's wife did not walk it. And she doesn't know what it means. She has no fucking clue. I was like, oh god, I'm getting fired. The fact that I still have a job is terrifying.
Yeah.
So anyways, this has been Brandon.
This has been Jeremy, the worst of our podcast.
Just Spence.
This has been Parker.
Oh shit!
I don't know who I am then.
Who are you?
Is this Age of Egos? On DACA? DACA House.
DACA House.
Yeah.
What?
Goodbye. What?
Goodbye.
Okay. You played one game all weekend, and it was against me.
Yes.
And I played 3. I played you one time.
That's true.
I played this Jeremy, and I played Jeremy Constance. 3 people who I see.
You went 0-3 on the weekend?
No, I beat him, and
Yeah, I
I
was
can't remember if I
doing,
beat Jeremy or not.
obliterations.
Oh, you went for the obliteration strategy. I'm just gonna cast obliteration through
I
my
think that's what happened.
renegade.
I do think it's hilarious that we've traveled multiple hours away from our local meta to play only local guys. I've done that 2 times now,
Yeah, I've
just
done it
because
multiple
it's
times.
the fun factor versus.
Well,
Yeah, I
usually
don't feel
it's when I get to a convention, I definitely want to either play absolutely as many games as I can, or I want to hang out. So usually it depends on how many events I've registered for on which of those two happens. Like Adepticon, I left work at 5. At 1:30 we got to the hotel. About 2 a.m. we got all of our stuff out of the car and into the room. And then I hung out with people till about 4:30 in the morning. And then I went to the room, took a shower, went to sleep at 5, got up at 6:15, and went down and tried to pre-register for events. That didn't work because they were not
How'd that
open
work
yet.
out?
No, it was fine. And then we went to the liquor store. We got liquor, started drinking.
Was this 10 a.m.?
No, that was later in the day. It was when we went to get lunch.
Yeah.
So later that night at about 4:30, go to bed, get up at 9:30-ish? 10, I guess? It's probably 10 when I actually got out of bed. Packed up the room, put all the stuff in the car, and then hung out until about 3 o'clock. Then I drove home and got home at about 1:30.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I got at least 7-8 hours of sleep every night. It was the most sleep I ever get. It was magnificent.
And you
I
just
played
love the
Leftovers.
breakfast buffet.
Dude, Trevor and I, like, I'm confident, like, we will go back and enjoy that someday. Like, that was, like, the most magnificent thing ever. They had cereal at a breakfast buffet. I know, most people are going to think that's not that big a deal, but, like,
Every buffet has cereal.
maybe in your head, I've never been to a buffet with cereal. Okay, I'm 100% white trash. Every time I see things like this, like, I think that's magic.
No, when I was a kid, we would go to the breakfast buffet in town, and they had little boxes of Frosted Flakes, like the plastic tubs with the peel-off tops. Like, literally, I was like, let's go to the breakfast buffet. I would just get those, and we had Frosted Flakes at home.
That's amazing.
I was just so excited to get the little bowl.
But they had, like, French toast and stuff. They had everything. Like, it was the most amazing experience of the whole weekend.
French toast was actually
No,
pretty good.
Second one. I got to hang out with the coolest people in the whole world, okay? The coolest people in the entire world.
I'm really
And you got
afraid
to
of
cuddle
what
with
you-
Jameson.
Oh, yeah, I got to meet
That
Jeremy's
son
brother.
of a bitch still owes me a cheeseburger. Don't let him forget that.
Max wasn't there, though.
That's true.
That's what we call disappointing.
I wasn't there.
Mexico was nice.
Were you not there?
Richard was not there.
Maybe he was just there in my heart.
That's true.
I carry him with me.
Well,
I wanted
who's your
to go.
brother?
I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart.
While he's
You're
on
not
the
Cummings,
road.
bitch.
Hey,
Boom.
hey, Spence,
Yeah.
you're not heavy. You're my brother.
Hearts. No, I met your brother, Chris, at Mechanic
Yes.
Studios. Aren't they amazing?
Chris is pretty cool. I don't know about Richard.
He's alright. He's alright. Hey,
So,
Richard, that's okay.
so,
You can be a dick sometimes.
Yeah, total dick.
actually coming from somebody like you guys have met all these people before, so like the celebrity of meeting all the big names in the Warmachine community.
My
was
favorite
so
is when
weird.
you met Keith. Oh my god.
No, I met Keith in Des Moines.
I know, but when you met Keith, it was funny as shit. You're like, that's Keith? I'm like, yeah, that's Keith. And you're like, holy shit.
And then Keith began to like point out the fact like, Spence, you can't do math. It's like, oh, I forgot to put Avengers on my list. He's like, yeah, this list is also short.
I have never been so embarrassed to meet people I knew at a different location to play games and been like, these are my friends Spence and Dev. And then they had to submit their list at least 3 times each because every time their lists were like 10 points off.
I was starstruck.
Like,
You leave me alone.
He's like, who is Spence? And you're like, that's me. I was like, you can't play 11 points down. And you're like, oops. Like, you come back, you're like, you can't play 6 points down. Damn it. Comes back, you're 5 points over. He's like, come on, man. What are you doing?
It's like, I
Took
don't
my
know.
first list and my second
He couldn't
list.
handle the pressure. He couldn't copy it from War Room directly to paper.
I don't understand math or numbers or pens.
And then you're like, I forgot the Avengers at home in Kansas. So,
And my
is
math
the
and
Avatar
medical-
roughly equivalent to 5 Avengers when I'm not
No.
running Choir?
No.
And I'm like, no.
No,
He's like, well, that's what I'm doing.
it was so bad. It was so bad.
So stupid.
But anyway, meeting like the whole like of everybody, it was so it's
Yeah,
they're just normal
lifelong
dudes.
hero.
Yeah, I did meet my lifelong hero. He was not as surly and unhappy in real life as I expected him to be. He did, however, have a pirate beard. Dude, Trevor. Are you kidding me? Trevor
Trevor
Christensen is the
from Chain
man.
Attack.
Oh, you should have had met him at Feast of Blades.
No, I still have not met him.
He was pretty upset at
I was in the
Blades.
same place as him. I received a nod of acknowledgement because I was sitting somewhere that he could see me, but I kind of feel like I don't want to do the whole like.
He did the typical like 4-year-old like super excited wave.
That
at
didn't
him.
happen. That
It
did
totally
not
happened.
It did not
You
happen.
might not remember.
No. I was like blocking and everything. I was like, no, nobody can come here. It's judges only. I got it, Trev. Don't worry.
That's right.
It was. I was broing out like crazy. I was like, no, you back up,
I'm pretty
douchebag.
sure you're on their stream. Like,
Am I?
Yeah, you're just like in the chair the whole time, like fucking security guarding. Nobody will pass.
Yeah. I Gandalf that shit like a motherfucker. I was like, no, you can't. They're like, judges only, bitch. Hey, back up. And he was like, and then like,
Just you and me, Trevor. Like I saw that in your eyes.
so like, I got you, bro. And he's like, who the fuck is this guy? But then I move over to watch Jay and John Carter's like last game for Masters, and like I'm leaning up against the wall, like just watching like from 3 feet away from the table.
We're directly behind the camera.
Yeah, it's like we were right there. And then Tom Guan comes over and like he's leaning on my shoulder watching the game, like he's like, nope, the thing is rate of fire D3+1, and like I'm like,
He's just spitting out facts of the
like,
game.
who's this guy?
He's like a little ninja.
And then he disappears, like no one has any idea where he went. And he shows back up again. He's just like, no, actually, he says, I'm like,
where were you?
I didn't know who he was. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, little ninja Asian
This
kid.
little creepy guy.
Dude, he just
all
showed
over the place.
He's like, I'm like, he's literally a ninja. He's just like, and he starts spitting out shit about Chris. I'm like, I don't know. And then somebody's like, that's Tom Guan. I'm like,
Yeah, he is a ninja. He just randomly shows up at tournaments.
it was hilarious. Like, all these people have no idea. And like, that's Jason Watts over there. I'm like, the one with the score. I didn't know that was a
The
person.
guy playing Scorn.
I've heard that name a million times. I've seen battle reports
He
online.
was on our podcast, Spence.
Was I there?
No.
Have I ever talked to Jason?
No.
Yeah, then how about you shut up and let me be all starstruck?
You could
okay?
listen to our podcast.
Like what? I'm.
You could catch up on all the ones you missed.
I listen to you talk a lot already.
Who has time when you're watching Warmachine team beats? You're like, oh, he's so dreamy.
So dreaming.
His lists are so cute.
I honestly think Keith should put out
We're
a
doing that
contest.
magazine now.
And if you can name off all of his circle beasts correctly, you should win something from Muse on Minis. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
You should explain what you're talking about because no one else knows this story.
Really?
No one that you're speaking to knows the story.
Are you guys okay? So
Remember, we're not doing this so we can listen to it later.
I was when I met Keith in Des Moines, like I was watching and he's playing Circle and Adam was the other guy? I know his name was Adam, right? Who's the other guy?
The Crix player?
No. The other guy was playing Circle.
Oh, that's Nick. Adam's brother.
Okay, Adam's brother Nick. And they're both playing Circle, but like Keith's Circle beasts are all painted up like animals. Like not just like animals, but like pets that you'd have. And it turns out they're all named after pets that he's had. So it's like every one of them has a story. It's like some animal
But like
he either
pets
has or
from
knows.
WoW or pets in real life.
Pets in real life. They're all like
Oh, okay.
animals he like has. So it's like every one of them has like a real name, like, and they're all painted like house pets. So it's like this one's a parrot. This one's obviously a Dalmatian. This one's obviously a German Shepherd. Like these are just animals he has. So I mean, Keith apparently owns a zoo.
I don't think that's true.
I'm confident that's 100% true. Okay. There's probably zoning rights you can look up online. But yeah, and he just goes through and he like the nicest guy in the world starts naming off all these different animals. I'm like, okay. So
You're crazy.
I don't have the right to call anybody crazy, but yeah, they're all named. Like I was like, okay.
If he
so,
invited you to his house, you would not have gone.
like I don't like aminals, you know that. But like I think somebody has to know all these names and like that's the way to Keith's heart, I guarantee it. If you remember like that one's name is Scout, that one's name is Ranger or whatever. It's like they all have real names. That's awesome.
Okay.
Huh?
Did you get to meet Cool Kurt?
I have been somewhere he was at. I've never actually met him.
Did he give
Kurt
you
is one
lots
of the
of
coolest dudes.
He's one of the strangest people I know.
Oh wait. Who was the person from the place that I don't like? That's very
man, you were about
Was
to
it Keith?
No, I love Keith. No,
You're about to alienate
no,
yourself.
from Chicago.
Jeez, I don't think we should point this out. Like, is
Okay.
it someone you actually know?
No, okay. I'll go over it off air.
Okay.
Like I haven't already enough.
Hey, Spence, we're off air. Go ahead. Who was it?
Now that we're
Oh.
off air, what do you think, Spence?
Richard, like that fucking guy.
What's the new topic?
So, how do you beat Bradigus?
You don't.
Like, I mean, is it possible?
Clearly you don't. I mean, people have asked me. You don't.
What is Menoth gonna do about him?
I'm pretty sure you just play.
Inside joke.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Anyway. So do we have a topic for next time? Anybody have ideas? We can talk about that later, I guess. But
If you have a request for a topic, please let someone
please.
know.
Yeah, post
Email
on our
Spence
Facebook page.
at-
Yeah, email Spence at... Let's
Tweet
just give out your phone number.
at
Is that
Just
okay?
Spence.
What
Oh,
if we
God.
started giving out your phone number every
That'd be
episode?
bad. I don't answer numbers that aren't on my phone anyway.
No, there's just infinite text, so it kills your battery faster.
I would just block the number.
But it's a bunch of different people.
I would block all of them.
That would take a long time.
I would just switch phone companies to another Verizon.
To another Verizon.
Yes.
But take your number with you.
I could do that.
I like transferring
Okay.
my number.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
I realized it after I signed my new contract.
Have you guys seen the new Batman versus Superman?
The teaser, yeah.
Yeah.
No, is it good?
I
It
have no
was
desire
a
for
pretty
it.
good teaser. I like how there's actually somewhat of a plot on the side of Superman, where normally it's like, Superman, like, that's the entire plot. Yeah, like, there's bad guys, like, that's the plot of most Superman.
Bad guy!
I go fast into stuff.
Actually, yeah, I this is kind of a bad thing for me because I've never disliked anything Ben Affleck has ever done. So, like, I just
I
have...
find that hard to believe.
No, it's true. Like, I watched Geely. I owned it on film. Like, I did.
I don't know if that's bad, is
Daredevil?
as bad as Daredevil.
Yes, I loved the Daredevil movie.
Is that Ben Affleck as the new
Yeah, Ben
Batman as well?
Affleck is Batman.
He's
Well,
Batfleck!
And the biggest problem I have with it was not how he looks, but how he sounds. I didn't know if he could do...
not Batman!
Okay, so what I was saying
Wow.
is I didn't think he could pull off a scary voice, and then it sounds synthesized in the teaser, but he doesn't sound terrible, so...
Can you bleed?
And who knows, maybe we'll get
Christian
another...
Bale sound terrible.
Yeah, but he was at
horrible.
least intimidating. Like, it wasn't good, but it
It
was...
was so bad. I love Christian Bale too. I was like, "Hello, I am Batman." I was like, "Dude, you're faking this." Like,
I
no one's
really,
taking you seriously.
I mean, I really liked those Batman movies, but that voice was bad.
I'm going to come over. And I'm like, "Shut up!"
I have throat cancer.
It would no, because that sounded better than he did. Like he sounded like he was choking on his own voice all the time. I was like,
Have you seen the video of the guy pretending to be Batman and then taking a shot
A
every
shot?
time he does? Yes.
What?
Oh, this guy just
Yes.
got crushed.
I will
Oh,
get
ripped
the
it in
video.
half and then clapped.
Max is watching videos and commenting.
"You should look at Cassie's fatality. It's awesome. She takes a selfie." Yes. Yeah, it's that good. If you fatality and take a selfie, it's amazing. You can't judge me based upon my likes.
I judge you about everything about you.
Are you sure that's okay?
No.
I hate thing.
There you go.
So why are you such a big Christian Bale fan?
Well, because he's actually insane. Like, he kept his family hostage for like 2 weeks and like physically abused his like mother and wife, and people are all like, "What?"
What?
I can't hear anything now.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. What'd you do? Quit messing with the knobs.
Yeah. I think you're just hearing things.
Or not.
Richard, are you still there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Richard, if you could be any one of Batman's batarangs, which one would you be?
The one that comes back.
So deep.
That's what Buck said.
That's what Buck said.
Full circle.
It's a callback. That's why it's good.
Did you?
I'm just
say
saying,
that?
like, if I could watch like Buck Angel fuck a tranny, like, I mean, I think I would get off on that. I mean, it's just, I don't even know what about it I would really enjoy, but I think some parts I'd be like, I don't know what part I'm really supposed to be focused on right now, but this is kind of cool.
I'm so confused. My left half is hard, but the right's soft.
Half duration.
I've got a soft boner.
Okay, I think we should direct conversation elsewhere.
I stopped recording a long time ago.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys seen the Battlefront trailer?
No one cares. Maybe.
They should
I don't
make board game trailers.
They do.
Yeah.
No, I quit life then.
I came up with that first. I've been doing that for years. Damn it!
We'll find a bridge. The bridge is high enough that I could jump off of it, but not high enough that it would kill me. I just want to go to the hospital. But not a hospital tall enough that when I go to the top and jump off, that it'll kill me. Just high enough that I can go back into the hospital. Okay?
You saying you want to spend your rest of the life in a shitty hospital?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like he wants to spend the rest of his life in an urgent care center.
All right, to St. Joe.
Yeah.
All right, so Richard, we might talk over you a little bit because you're on Skype and you're on a bit of a delay.
I doubt it.
Okay.
Everybody ready?
No.
Okay, dude.
Who am I going after again? Jeremy?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Jeremy's just not going to introduce himself to mess it up. If Jeremy pauses for too long, you just jump in.
And ladies and gentlemen, from our last podcast, Lord Fool on the forums, it's Jeremy! And then insert applause here. Someone's fapping. We'll see if I can still do this.
Round of applause.
It used to be a horse, but I can't do it anymore. Don't you give me that look, you motherfucker! Brandon does disappointed.
I gave him a very disappointed look.
Matt was not masturbating. That was not masturbating at all.
Hey, if I Skype message you, is it going to play?
Have you ever seen the porn sounds
Did
video?
you just send me one?
Well, I sent you a link a
The
bit ago.
guy's like,
if I
yeah, I'm
need
a
to
professional
move my mic and step
porn
away for
sound.
half
I don't know what he says. He's like got like a pickle in a mayonnaise jar, and he's got 2 pieces
That
of
looks
chicken, and he
super
just
gay.
kind of slaps them together for. It's so good. I'm gonna look it up now. Oh shit.
I'm the only one that has been drinking. Just FYI.
And that's why we blame everything on you, Brandon.
Ow.
What'd you do? Bite yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Quit biting yourself.
Mm-hmm. You in charge of me.
So, I'll tell you guys the sweet, sweet deal I got today. Oh, God. Because it's pretty damn sweet.
Was it like a brother-in-law deal?
No.
Oh.
I...
So wasn't that good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. So I was shopping around with, on some of the Facebook groups looking for a Prime Axiom. And a couple people were like, oh, 75 plus shipping, 100. And I was like, oh. And then Mikey sent me a message. And I ended up picking up an Axiom on with its own battle foam, as well as 6 units of Angels, Aurora, Axis, all the heavies, basically double of all the troops, full faction loadout, and the bases that my brother designed, the Dragonforge ones, and I'd say like a third of it's already been painted, and I got that for 200, and I was like, wow. So I'm basically, I have a lot extra to sell, so I might recoup most of my money.
Holy shit.
That's what guys want to hear. When they're
Okay, so season 2, the new season, the new models are out.
They're doing their thing right. So
Alright.
All I'm saying is Widowmaker Marksman.
Alright. I'm ready, EJ.
Enigma Foundry is one of the...
HJ.
Hand job,
LJ.
RJ.
CJ.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't either. I'm waiting for everyone to get ready.
VJ.
Alright, I'll be back in 2 seconds. You guys let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready right now. If we just, literally start.
And I'm either spraying a lot or in hospitable ground.
I
It's
hate
a
that
thing.
spell. I hate it so fucking much.
In hospital ground?
Yes.
I don't think it's that bad. It is a really annoying spell.
Yeah,
But-
it's because it's annoying. It's, well, mark it.
Well, right. I mean, I think they should be forced to show you their control area
Yeah.
because it affects the game state. But, I mean, I've never played against someone who was like, I'm going to move in. I was like, can you check your controls so I know where the difficult terrain is affected? And they're like, nope. I'm like, well, I'm going to move. And if you refuse to measure it, I'm just going to move. Like, you have to put it down at some point. You're wasting my time if you're going to make me move 2 inches and then be like, am I in now? You're like, I don't think so. I'm not going to measure yet. I'm like, if you're going to do that, I'm just going to start moving. And if you don't get it in time, it's your fault.
That could be a great reason why people would get upset if you're playing against stick bags.
It's definitely not my most hated spell, but the problem I find it annoying is because for some reason I just don't consider that they're just going to cast it again. Like, I always assume it's a feat ability. For some reason, that's how I've remembered that spell, like, just as a natural reflex for some reason.
Right.
So they'll be like, alright, Inhospitable Ground, and I'll play properly that turn, but I won't set up for next turn for some reason. So the next turn I'm like, well, I'm still positioned as if there's not going to be Inhospitable Ground this turn. And then I'll position again this turn, assuming it's not going to be up next turn. I just don't know why I do that. It's just a habit I have.
Yeah, you basically fed me 6 units of Doom Reavers.
Right, I'm like, alright, well, I'm going to position these guys to where that when you come up and fight them, I'll be in position to charge you. But when I set up for position to charge you back, I set up as if I have full charge distance. I just, for some reason, it doesn't matter who I'm playing against, that's how I play Inhospitable Ground. I always get costed really heavy on it.